Hello. Right, we will begin. I suppose I should start by posting the trinket people will be needing. I need to share a screen. That one. Right, if you could give some indication of if the font is a good size, I'll get that over and done with at the beginning. Wonderful. So today we are going to be making or at least editing a game of almost a bit like Minecraft. It's in 2 dimensions. I'll just demonstrate the game itself. I've already hit run here. I can use the D key to move this little blob to the right, S for down, A for left, W for up. Fairly standard instructions. And what you can also do, if you see at the bottom here, you've got these options to place different resources or craft them. If I push the R key on my keyboard, I will craft some bricks. You see that the number of them has gone up. It should have used 2 dirt and a water. If I then push the 4, I will place the bricks. And now there are some bricks here. What the instructions don't say, and I had to go digging for, is that you can kick things up with the spacebar. So I'm going to pick up this grass. Up it goes, and I've now got 11 of them when I previously had 10. So if you watch that, that'll go up to 12. And there we go. So you can pick things up, and then you can put them down anywhere you like. And that's how the game currently is set up. So our first task. So the first challenge in our instructions is just to sort of get used to the game a little bit and start moving things about, picking them up, placing them to build sort of a house with a garden and a swimming pool. Won't necessarily spend too long doing that. It's a slightly irritating delay while we wait for all that to refresh before you can move. But you can see the general process of going about putting down various items. I'll put the swimming pool, as it were, in the middle. And I don't really have many bricks for building a house, so I'll have to craft a few. I don't have any more dirt, so that's sad. If I pick up the dirt, it looks like we can just pick up as much dirt as we like from one spot. That's nice. Possibly that's cheating, but I have no idea. Anywho, we can put some bricks down. Play with this to your heart's content at another time. So we're going to move on to customizing the game. We've got this main.py file, and I think we won't be touching this at all. So this is just sort of how the game itself does all of its logic. And we're going to be using variables.py. So make sure you click on that one. And this is where we're going to change a lot of things. For example, this background color that is white, if we do so wish, we can choose a trinket color, such as light blue. Click run, and the game will re-render. We'll get a new random world. Unfortunately, my house, whatever it was, is gone. But the background is now in light blue, which is handy. And there are various other things we can change. For example, if you want to be able to collect more than 20 things at a time, so you see here we have 10, but if you want to be able to hold more than 20, you can increase that, say to 40. That won't really have a huge effect at the moment. There we go. You can also change the size of your map. For example, if we put this to 15, it will take longer to build because it has more tiles it has to go through and place, but you'll get a bigger space that you can then play with, which is certainly more fun. There we go. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go for a smaller number than it was before for testing so that it's quicker. You can see how much quicker this will be to render everything compared to that 15 by 15 map. How's everyone getting on? This should hopefully be very nice and simple for now. Shout if you need me to go any faster or slower, although I probably won't go any faster. So we have our basic resources in our world. We're going to start by adding a new one. So here we can see the different resources that we have available: dirt, grass, water, and brick. And we are going to add wood. So we're going to type wood, and we'll put a few spaces through so that it all lines up very nicely. And we'll give it a new number. So we'll go for 4. So it's different to everything else and it's nice and logical. We're then going to add it to this resources list and make sure we put wood in there. That's everything. This is a dictionary that gives each resource a name, and that controls, I think, various bits such as this bit of text here tells you how to do things. So human-friendly name, which is just not going to be in all capitals. This is a dictionary that tells the game what picture to use as the image. Oh, that's the wrong character. There we go. So we'll use wood.gif. That's already in the project for you. And make sure you get this comma at the top of the end of this line, otherwise it won't work. We're going to state how many pieces of wood the player is going to start with. Do that here. 5 pieces. And finally, we need to tell the game which key on the keyboard is going to be responsible for placing wood in the world. And to keep that nice consistent, go for 1 higher than everything else. And we should be able to hit run. So there we have our piece of wood. And if I place that wood with number 5, there we go. I've now only got 4 in my inventory, and we have placed it. So how is everyone getting on with this stage? I assume from the lack of response that everyone is doing fantastically well. Please send a link. What we can do is we can share, I think, this current step. There's not much point keeping everyone the previous. So here's a link to successfully adding the wood if you are a little stuck there. And then we will move on. We will move on to the next step, which is our world had no wood to start with. And that's something that we want to fix. So I lied earlier, we will be going into main.py. And there is a function called generate random world somewhere in here. It's a big file actually. Generate random world, here we go, 239. And what this does is this is using some random numbers to put different resources down. So what we're going to do is add a new line here and say elif random number is equal to 5. That's the number we assigned wood earlier. It's the number we're choosing to use for it here. I'm going to say tile is equal to wood. And what I should probably do is put in a comment like these other ones. So wood, give 5. If we rerun this, hopefully the world will start with some wood. There we go. So we've got a few naturally occurring pieces of wood. So if it helps, this is the lines that we've added. I'll give a minute for you to catch up. And I've highlighted the wrong lines. These are the ones we've changed. Thank you, Stephen. It's getting me back for all the mistakes I pointed out last week.
Half the fun making the mistakes. I'm sure at this point, if Olivia was joining in today, she'd be giving us some jokes about wouldn't you know it or something.
Oh dear. I haven't got it in me today. The terrible jokes. Right, we shall move on to the next step, which is basically a challenge for you guys. So I'm going to hold off on starting this for a bit, but can you add a sand resource to the game? Now, I will do one hint, which is it is a file called sand.gif that exists already for you. And I'll give a couple of minutes head start for you all, and then I will work through it slowly as well. And we'll see where we get. If you can put sand into the game, do shout in the chat if you have succeeded. That would be good to know. So I can share the current state, which includes the random wood for people. So I see someone has tapped confused. I did implement that after I shared the last link. That's why my link doesn't include that feature. It's not an absolute necessity that the world has every resource naturally occurring in it. If you start with some already, otherwise it's, I suppose, a bit sad. There we have it. So I will begin going through the steps for, so someone said that sand is not defined. That possibly means you missed this one up the top. So we'll put a variable defining what sand is. Yeah, it's the number 5. And then we'll add it to the list of things that the world contains. Wonderful. So that seems to have helped someone out. And then we'll give it a human readable name, remembering that comma at the end of line 30. Okay, sand. Not a big fan of sand, to be honest. Horrible stuff. Someone's already done. Wonderful. It's fairly procedural work. Just got to do almost exactly the same thing as we did for the wood, except we're going to use the word sand in most places. And give the player 5 sand, I think. And they will use a 6 for that. I can't remember if there's anything else we have to do, so I will hit run. So I have sand, and I can place sand, but I can't pick up sand because there isn't any in the world. So let's also, and sand can be a bit more common than wood. So we'll put a random number in, we'll use this notation from above, 6, 7. So if it's either a 6 or a 7, then we will say tile is equal to sand. I'm going to put a comment in to explain that. 6, 7. Let's just give my world a little refresh. Here we seem to have a reasonable quantity of naturally occurring sand. My poor chap has started in a puddle. I think now is a good time indeed to provide a link to a world with sand. So is it link? There we go. So all panelists and attendees, link. Wonderful. And let's close that off. So that's that done. So our next challenge is to do something a bit more interesting in our world. So we're going to add a new resource called planks, but we're not going to put planks in the world. They are going to be available for us to craft. So we have got a request to slow down, but we'll just explain a little bit. So our planks are going to be a lot like these bricks here, where I haven't got any bricks. There are no bricks in the world. But if I use this R key to craft a brick, you'll see that one more is going to appear. And also I've lost 2 of my dirt, 1 of my water. I've got the instructions up here stating that that's why. And then now I can place bricks. And now I've lost my brick, and we've got a brick here. So that's what we're going to do with planks. And we've got a Q&A to do some debugging. So let's do that. Let's take a brief trip into somebody's world, which is, I'm sure, exciting. Here we go. So the question was, my world does not generate wood, cannot find why. So that is certainly appearing not to be generating any wood. If we dig down into the generate random world. So what you're inadvertently done, title must exist for something else, but you've accidentally set the title to be wood instead of tile. And then if we rerun with that change, you'll see some wood has naturally occurred in your world. So ordinarily a spelling mistake like that would have caused an error, but I'm guessing somewhere in this file, title is also a valid variable that we accidentally overwrit. So that is hopefully a good fix for you. And we will begin working on adding planks in to our game. So we will declare plank equal to 6, and we will add it to our list of available resources. And we will give it a human name. I keep putting that character for some reason. That will be plank. There we go. And we will also provide it with image, spaces, and then plank dot give. Now, these spaces aren't required. It's not part of Python to have them. It's just that the original author wanted everything to line up nicely. I'm just maintaining that. We will state that there are no planks to start with. I would not give the player any planks. And that should, whilst we haven't made a way to create planks in the game yet, we should have done something here. Oh dear, actually we have forgotten a few things, haven't we? There goes our break. We do need to tell the player how to place a plank. That is not optional. So hopefully that will improve things. I've got quite a patchwork world. There we go. So I haven't got any planks, but it is key number 7 to use them. And indeed, I cannot place any. There are none in the world, so there we go. I'll give just a second to do that. And I'll catch everyone up because we'll do a little challenge next. So I'll post this for everyone. So here is the Python data structure for crafting in our game. It is a dictionary where you have the key is the item that you are going to craft, and the value is another dictionary which has keys for the individual resources you have to use to do your crafting. So this is saying that a brick is made of 1 water and 2 dirt. And you can see we've certainly got those instructions up here that the brick is, okay, 2 dirt and 1 water, but it's the same really. So as a challenge, I will give you a couple of minutes to try and get it working. Can you make planks, something that you can craft out of, and I think they will cost 3 wood. Again, you can put a note in the chat if you are finished and this is working. Okay, someone has got it working. I may have forgotten a step, but you may also need to add a line in here to provide a key for crafting it. Not sure if the game runs with or without this. Probably runs without it, but you won't be able to use it. But I'm sure we will go through that in 20 seconds according to my timer. Right, so we're going to put a comma here. We're going to start a new line. Say that a plank is wood. And I am curious what happens if I omit the crafting key. It's actually very sad. Fair enough. So we will also place the key that we need to use to craft a plank. I think P is quite appropriate for a plank. And then we can the game again. There we go. So we've got instructions up here that a plank is 3 wood. And we have here the instructions to use a P. So if I use the P, my number of wood should go down from 5 to 2. And I should get myself a plank. Wonderful. And then with 7, I can place my planks in the game. There we go. So we have successfully added planks of wood. Wonderful. So the next challenge is to create a new resource called glass. I will provide a link at this point. There is a GIF called glass.gif that you can use, and it should be craftable from sand. So don't put any in the world to start with. but I will give a 3-minute head start for this one, and then I'll go through it slowly, and we'll add glass. Don't know how much sand you should use to make a piece of glass. Guess that's up to you. Oh dear.
I do apologise. Even on her day off, Olivia still has the jokes to send.
So again, give us a shout if you have finished, or if you are stuck, by all means. Should have got some music, shouldn't I?
Need the Minecraft music.
Yeah, get into trouble, wouldn't we? Sure, that's copyrighted in some obscure way.
I'm sure there's some open source version of it.
My dog must be very bored if she's come to visit me. Right. So, we shall begin making some glass. So, we'll give it a value. There's another number. And we shall give it a list of resources. Give it a name. Luckily, both glass and glass are spelt the same, so we don't have to worry about that. And we will give it an image. Ooh, I forgot my colour. It's called glass.gif. We will not give the users any glass to start with. 0 of that. And we will have a place option. Glass 8. And so our recipe for glass. This is going to be sand. And let's just have one piece of sand makes a piece of glass. I'm sure one piece of sand is not a single grain. And for our craft key for glass, I see no reason not to use the G key. Run that. Have I forgotten anything? Hopefully not. Huzzah. So glass we can craft from a single piece of sand. There we go. And then I can place my glass with the 8 key. Wonderful. So that's placed glass. Now I have no idea what would happen if we require half a sand to make some glass. I really have no idea, I haven't tried it. Wonder if we can get 2 pieces of glass out of a single block of sand. So to craft it, I type G. Oh, wait, I don't type it there. I have to type it over here. G. Oh, good. I only have 4.5 sand left. And I have a glass. So I suppose the answer to my question is yes, you can get 2 pieces of glass from a bit of sand. Okay, so someone has asked about being able to pick up an object and place it somewhere else. You may have missed at the very beginning, you can indeed do that. So I shall pick up this wood with the space key, and it has been picked up, and it has gone into my inventory. And then we can put a piece of wood down anywhere we like, corresponding key for that resource, and then you have moved it. And it seems that the default for the world is to have dirt underneath absolutely everything. To the point where if I now pick up dirt, there is still dirt underneath of it. So there we go, dirt is endless. We have someone I think has posted their trinket link. I'm assuming that they have a question or that it doesn't work. I'm not sure. To the unknown we go. Rendering. Displaying these. So we have glass, but it doesn't seem to be displayed here on the right hand side. So let's take a look into that. So I think that's controlled by this, and glass needs adding here. So if we do that quickly, give the mod a little bit more space, see if that fixes the problem for the user. There we have got some. They have used the C key for creating it. And I've crafted some glass, there we go. And then the 8 key for placing it. Okay, so that was the only problem, is it needs to be listed here for it to display here. I believe without that it would still actually work, you just wouldn't know how much of it you had. So there we are. And now that we've done the glass, that's technically the end of the instructions, and therefore the end of today's session. So that's it, folks, I'm afraid. We'll stay on for a few minutes if you haven't quite finished, and hope to see you. I think there's one next week, Stephen.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah,
hopefully the email we sent out on time. Hopefully we'll send the email out at the right time this time, so we do apologise for sending that a bit late, everyone.
And if we can just make dirt even more eternal. If dirt is made of half dirt. I need a craft key for that. Can't use D because that's a movement key. So we will use Q because I have no idea what's going to happen. Can I just have infinite dirt out of my pocket? Yes, I can just generate dirt now. Half a dirt, to be fair. I can only make half a dirt. What if I just make dirt free? Placing is by pushing the number keys at the top of your keyboard. So in this case, if I push the 1 and it doesn't work for the number pad on the right-hand side of my keyboard, I have to use the ones above the letters, and it will place the resource you see up here using the keys you see down here. So if that doesn't work, give us a link and we can have a look at the code. So now I've made dirt free. I think I need to rerun my game. How free is dirt? Dirt is completely free. What if we get paid to make dirt? So this is like uncrafting, I suppose. So do I get 12? Yes. Cool. That means we can turn sand back into glass, or glass back into sand.
It's unglassing.
Yeah. So we make it free, and I'll need to give sand a key for crafting. I'll use the E key because I don't really know what else to use. I should get 1 sand. Oh wait, I should use a glass to do that. That would make sense. Cool, so I don't have any glass, so I'll have to make some. There we go. Now I made a piece of glass, I should now be able to make some sand out of it. Yeah, there we go. Right, I think we appear to have no more questions, and I'm clearly getting silly. So, goodbye all, and see you next week.